Hello, my name is Jeremy Sylvester from Urban Dubz and LukeWax.com, and this is a video on how to make a garage and house beat in the Akai's MPC Live or Touch using samples and presets. This video is the first of two parts on how to make a garage and house beat from start to finish using the MPC purely for drums and then bouncing the drums to Ableton, where we build, arrange and then finalize the complete track. Please subscribe to Urban Dubz YouTube channel for more videos like this. Let's get started. First things first is to source the right sounds. It's always a good idea to prepare your sounds in advance than to find your sounds as you go along. Sounds can come from many sources, including drum presets, sample packs, sampling records, etc. You can check out my many sample packs on LukeWax.com. It's always a good idea to prepare your drum kits, which you can pull up as and when you need them, depending on the type and style, genre you're going for at the time. I like to start with a kick drum as the foundation of any groove. Let's have a look through some kick drums. So for the purpose of this video, this will be a general tutorial on how I build drum patterns in preparation for a house and garage beat. I will go into more details in other videos on the various functions and pages of the MPC drum machine. Okay, so let's have a flick through. So the MPC has a great selection of drum sounds geared towards any kind of electronic and urban music, from hip hop to trap to house music. I'm going to browse through some sounds in the sound bank to play around with. Quite like the sound in this one. This one here is quite heavy with a nice little mid-range to it and a little bit of poke. So let's have a look through some other percussion sounds and see what we have. What I tend to do is basically just grab a whole different range of different hi-hats, and then, I might not necessarily use every single one, but it's just nice to have just kind of flick through and see which ones I really like, and I just load them into the MPC sound bank, and then later on I can just eliminate the ones I don't need. Okay, so now we're going to assign the individual sounds that we found and saved in our drum machine. We're now going to assign them to individual pads on the drum machine, ready for us to play and create our drum patterns and grooves. Usually I set house and garage tempo to around about 126, 127, so I'll do that now. And what we're going to do now is basically set the pattern bars to 4 bars. We're going to run a 4-bar pattern for now. So the drums that I've assigned so far are automatically set into a program. So as you can see from down here, it's actually set to program 1, but you can actually rename it, makes it a lot easier. So all the drums that I have assigned so far have gone into drum set 1, which I've just named it drum set 1 here. So far I've got these sets of percussion sounds on bank A. And on bank 2, you notice that I have 2 drum loops, which I want to use within the pattern. So what I want to do now with these loops is actually just make sure they're running at the same tempo to how I've set this, which is 126 BPM. So I want to make sure that these drum loops are at 126 BPM when I put them on a loop. what I want to do is just take out some of the low end, so that way when we play our new percussion sounds over it, I really want to have an independent kick going underneath it, so we can have more headroom and more play when we come to arranging the drums. Yeah, just some useful information, really. Always remember, when you're making beats, it's all about the feel. Try not to rely too much on editing by numbers. You just kind of lose that. You lose the feel, don't you? Sometimes recording stuff in which you didn't really plan, can become an integral part of a track. It's all about the feel. If it feels right, it must be right. Simplicity is the key. Try and keep it simple, but use the right sounds. Don't just settle for any sound. So now we're going to change the swing. If you know anything about my music, I like to put a bit of swing in there. And normally the general swing on my drums is around about 56, 57%, 58%. Used to be a lot higher back in the day. But yeah, nowadays I tend to normally set it around 57%. So to do that, we change the swing or the quantize. This is usually great for putting a swing on the snares and the hi-hats just to give it that nice bubbly, bumpy sound. Yeah, I think I could actually swing it a little bit more. Initially, I said 56 to 57 on the quantize percent-wise. I think we can probably change it a little bit more just to make it a little bit more swingy, especially with those shakers. Take a bit of time going through your sounds and storing sounds you really like into your database for later use. Yeah, so now we're going to add some more percussion. Yeah, I'm not too happy about that snare, so I'm going to change it around and try and see if I can find another one and browse through my collection and just see if I can find a more less of a harder snare, more of a lighter type snare, just to give it a little bit of skip here and there throughout the pattern. Yeah, I'm not too happy about that percussion bit there. So I might actually take it out and just try a different pattern. Yeah, I quite like that for now. Yeah, so let's have a look around and see if we can find some more elements we can put in there. Yeah, I think I'm going to take off a little bit of the bottom end, so just run a low pass filter on it just to get rid of that. Yeah, just going to run a high pass filter just to get rid of that bottom end. so what I'm going to do now, just actually mute the original loop I had in there. I'm going to try it with this new loop and see what happens. Now I'm not too happy with that, so I think I'm going to just leave it to the original loop that we had. what I want to do now is just add some 909 closed hi-hats and open hi-hats over the initial groove. At the moment, the hi-hats are coming from the loop. Which is great, but I want to add some extra hats on top of that just to brighten it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is just add the 909 hi-hats on an empty pad, which I think will be on bank 2 of where we had the drum set. So I've got 2 spare pads going here. So yeah, now we can go ahead and just start playing the pattern into the groove. Got to make sure the quantize is right, make sure the quantize is between 57 and say 62%, just to give it that swing. Going to shorten a note on the open hi-hats. Just to make it a little bit more tighter. Yeah, and there you have it. Okay, so now we are happy with the groove pattern we have created. We can now go ahead and export the drums as audio stems and as an Ableton LIVE Set. So this is how you do it. We go to File, scroll down where it says Export, scroll down where it says As Ableton LIVE Set. Okay, so we click here. We want to include all the program volumes and all the pan settings that we have, that we created within the hardware device. So we tick that. and everything else you can just leave as it is. 24-bit, sample rate 44.1 kilohertz, audio tau 0. So we export that as an audio. You've got options to do as audio or MIDI, leave it as audio, and we export, and we find a path where you want that on your desktop. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this on my desktop. So I find a new folder. I call it drums. I call it Ableton LIVE Set drums. I create a folder, and then we give it a name. I'll call it Ableton LIVE Set drums. There you go, and then we click save, and there you go.